The students of Viyalo Secondary School, the Form 2 East students, my colleagues, teachers who are going to be the observers for my online lesson study, chemistry. I want to greet all of you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon once more.
Good afternoon, sir.
So I want to share a screen with you to show the slides that we are going to use in our online lesson study. So I believe, Mr. Nandwa, you can see my screen right now.
Yes.
So everyone, I want again to welcome you to the lesson study, live lesson. The subject is chemistry. The topic that we're going to handle is on salts. And the subtopic that we want to look at this afternoon is preparation of insoluble salts. The class is from 2 East, as I had earlier on told you, and the time is 2nd of March 2021 between 2 p.m. and 2:40 p.m. My name is Masaria Lowland. Moving to the next slide. Let me just move to the next slide. The next slide, you can see we have preparation of insoluble salts, where we have some procedure 1. I want to engage the boys and girls of Form 2 East into some activity so that they can straight away start implementing the activity. So I want to ask one of the group members, Caroline, can you read for us what is highlighted under the procedure, please? Caroline.
You are provided with sodium sulfate, lead 2 carbonate, sodium chloride, and potassium nitrate in separate test tubes.
Very good. I believe, just a moment, Caroline, thank you for that. I believe in all your groups, you can see we have provided you with all those salts in test tubes placed on a test tube rack. Is that correct, class?
Yes.
Very good. So the second step, Caroline, can you go ahead?
Add about 2 ml of distilled water to the salts in the test tubes and shake.
So what you will do, class, is simply to add just about 2 milliliters of distilled water that has been provided in wash bottles to the salts in the test tubes, and then you will shake. The last step, Caroline, again.
Record your observations.
So that is the first activity that we want to engage in. So in our small groups, let us go ahead and do that. I'll be crossing over. I'm presenting from the chemistry laboratory, but I'm coming to the field so that you can, I can be able to see what you're doing in your small groups. So expect me there in a few minutes. Thank you. So as I had told you, you can see I'm back in very few minutes time. So I believe in your small groups, you are doing as was instructed. There were just 4 salts, so it is not going to take you a longer time. This is group number 7. So you can see my colleagues, the 3 teachers are observing what you are doing so that later they'll be in a position to report on how we carried out our lesson. So thank you so much, my colleagues, the teachers. So I'm going back to continue sharing in the laboratory as you do what is expected. Thank you so much. Yeah, I can see Madam Coletta, you are observing the students are carrying out the experiment. Thank you so much. So that simple activity, I believe by now you should be in a position to quickly record the results because I want to move on to the next slide. Then you should be able to answer the questions that I'll pose. You can see on the screen I've displayed a slide that has a question. So the question, maybe you can go to group number 7 so that one of the members can read for us the question that is displayed on the screen, Mr. Nandwa. Mr. Nandwa, are you getting me?
Only ionic substances that dissolve in water.
Very good. So the question is it only ionic substances that dissolve in water? So who can respond to that? Charity, I can see you. Is it yes or no?
Yes.
So Charity says yes, it's only ionic substances that dissolve in water. Anybody with a contrary opinion? Caller, I'm seeing you. What do you have to say?
Yes.
It is yes.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
So you are saying it is yes, but you will discover when we move on with chemistry, we'll discover that we have even molecular substances that dissolve in water. So it is not only the ionic substances that dissolve in water. If I move to the next slide, you can see that the next slide, I am talking about choice of a method to prepare a salt. So if you want to prepare a salt, remember we are to prepare salts that do not dissolve in water, the ones that are called insoluble salts. So as you are carrying out your experiment in procedure 1, I believe by now you have something, but we shall get on to that. But when it comes to choice of a method to prepare a salt, then the choice of a method to prepare a salt will depend on whether the salt is soluble or the salt is insoluble. I think I've given you salts like sodium sulfate, sodium chloride, and potassium nitrate. So if I may go back to the slide, initially where we had the procedure 1, as you are trying to add water to those salts, sodium sulfate, did it dissolve or it was insoluble? Betty Kavochi, are you there? Tell us, did it dissolve or it was insoluble?
It dissolved.
It dissolved, very good. What about lead 2 carbonate? We are still on you, Betty. Lead 2 carbonate, was it soluble or it did not dissolve?
It did not dissolve.
Ah, wonderful, that is good. It's like I'm on you because we have other students, but I want you to answer the whole of that question. Sodium chloride, did it dissolve or it did not dissolve? Sodium chloride.
It dissolved.
It dissolved. Eh? And lastly, what about potassium nitrate?
It also dissolved.
It also dissolved. Class, let us clap for Kawochi Betty. She has answered the whole of that question perfectly. Let us clap for her. Very good. Now you can see the second bullet there. I've said that soluble salts like sodium sulfate, sodium chloride, and potassium nitrate have a unique method through which they are prepared. And then the insoluble salts, of the salts that I gave you, it was only lead 2 carbonate, which did not dissolve. So I've said insoluble salts like lead 2 carbonate also have a unique method of preparing it, or they have unique or specific methods of preparing them. So going to the next slide, you can see that we have also provided you with some chemicals or materials and apparatus for us to perform yet another group activity. So the chemicals and apparatus are as you can see on your screen. Maybe we can give Ian, read for us the chemicals that are displayed on the screen. The chemicals alone.
You are provided with the following chemical and apparatus: chemicals, materials, and apparatus.
So just read
Lead
the
2
column
nitrate.
for chemicals alone. The column for chemicals alone.
Lead 2 nitrate, sodium sulfate, lead 2 carbonate, barium sulfate, silver 2 chloride,
It's
sodium
silver
chloride.
one. It's silver one, please.
Silver 1 chloride, sodium chloride, calcium sulfate, potassium nitrate, potassium iodide.
Potassium
Iodide.
iodide. Very good. Let us also clap for Ian. So that was Ian Mahindu. We also have Kahimika Ian. Read for us the apparatus.
Apparatus: test tube rack, conical flask, filter papers, filter paper.
Very
Three
good.
test tube racks, 3 test tube racks, 1 conical flask, 2 filter papers, 1 filter paper.
Fantastic. I can see we had placed 500 ml distilled water under apparatus. It should be under the chemicals, but a wash bottle is an apparatus. Thank you for that. Let us also clap for Ian Kahimika. Well done, well done. Let me move to the next slide then. So the next slide, there is also a procedure. Of course, we've provided you with the chemicals, the apparatus that we've read out. Now I want you to go through the procedure you are required to. So I want, who is this that I'm forgetting about? I want Vivian to read for us procedure 2. Vivian, you are required to.
Procedure 2. You are required to add about 2 ml of distilled water to the salt in the test tubes and check. Record your observation in the exercise book. Pair up and share on how you can prepare lead 2 sulfates.
Very good. Let us clap for Vivian Atieno. So in your groups, I think I've provided you with what you need. I want you to do what is required in procedure 2 as I come to see what you are doing. So in about 1.5 minutes, I'll be joining you. Thank you so much. Here I am in about 1.5 minutes time. So I can see you are doing the activity. This is group number. Who is the group leader? What's your name? Very good. Sunguti, I believe you recorded the observation for the first procedure with the members of your group. Eh? Good. Who's the group leader here? He's like, he's not sure if he's the group leader. Okay. You are the group leader. So I can see you are almost winding up. So in case there is a question along the way, do not hesitate to ask the question. Feel free to ask the question. Whether I'm here like now, or even when I'm presenting from the chemistry laboratory, you can ask a question. Remember the last bit, we are supposed to pair up and do some discussion. We need to prepare some salt known as lead to sulfate. So you will pair up and share on how you can prepare lead to sulfate. You will decide on the reagents that you will need so that you prepare lead to sulfate. I believe we have given you all the chemicals and apparatus that you will require for that, and therefore there will be no problem. So Mr. Nandwa, thank you so much for helping me to do lesson observation. Let me rush back to the chemistry laboratory to continue presenting. I am back. Mr. Nandwa, can you see me?
Yes, yes.
Ah, very good. I can see the boys and girls in their groups. They are still working on the activity.
Yes.
Very good. So the students, there is a group activity. After you paired up, there is some group activity that you can see displayed on the screen. And I would like group number one, the group leader to read through the group activity.
In groups of 3 or 4 learners, prepare lead 2 sulfate using the provided reagents. Present your group findings. Classify salts as soluble or insoluble in your groups.
Very good. So that is the task ahead of us. Now in our groups, we have 10 groups made up of either 3 or 4 members. We want you to prepare lead 2 sulfate using the materials, the chemicals, and the apparatus that you've been provided with. Then after that, as you can see from the screen, you're going to present your findings in the group, and later we are going to classify those salts as either soluble or insoluble in your various groups. So I'll also be coming to check on you. Remember, this is a live lesson. It is being recorded. Later, after this or another day, you will be able to see how you performed in class. I'm coming to see you. Thank you, class. I am back here with you in the open field. I believe we have finished attempting the activity. That is good. Remember, I gave each one of you some worksheet. So there is some worksheet where you will be able to look at activities 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you will complete after this class. I'll have to collect. So there is some video that we shall play later when I go back to the laboratory that we shall watch what is happening. Then we shall make some observations and answer a few questions before we wind up our class. Yes. So very good, Mr. Nandwa. Thank you for the good work. Continue recording what is happening in the various groups. Let me go back to the chemistry laboratory to continue presenting. So thank you so much. I believe in your various groups, as you've reported, you've finished carrying out the group activity. Maybe I can go to group number 3. Group number 3, please present to us your findings. Group number 3, as you are trying to find out if the solids are dissolving or not dissolving in water? Group number 3.
Solid particles do not dissolve in water.
I can't get you. Can you be audible?
The solid particles do not dissolve in water.
Of which salt? Of which salt? Which salt is that?
Barium sulfate.
Barium sulfate. Very good. Barium sulfate did not dissolve in water. What about lead 2 sulfate? The one that you are trying to prepare? Group number 3, can you hear me?
Yes.
Lead 2 sulfate. Was it dissolving in water?
Yes.
It was dissolving.
Yes.
I think group number 3, you are not getting me so clearly. Let us go to group number 6. Group number 6, tell us about your findings on the activity that you've just concluded. Group number 6.
The lead 2 sulfate was not dissolving in water.
It was not dissolving in water. Correct. Now, as we wind up, we want to watch some video clip. Maybe you can allow me to share my screen with you. I don't know if you are seeing my screen right now. Mr. Nando, what is displayed on my screen?
Your image.
Only my image, eh? So let me stop.
Yes.
You can't see that I am presenting something else, like we have some Google Calendar. You can't see that.
No.
It is okay. So let me stop sharing and share again. What are you seeing on my screen right now? You can see Google Calendar.
Yes.
Very good. So I want to play some video so that the learners can watch. So it is taking some time to load. Let us be patient. Mr. Nandwa, I'm depending on you. Is there some YouTube video showing on your screen that is about to play?
Yes.
Very good. I want to play it so the learners can you listen, you watch, so that you'll answer a few questions after the presentation. You can see precipitation has taken place, and they are now filtering using a filter funnel on which we have fitted a filter paper. So that is rinsing the precipitate with the distilled water. So that is kind of like an evaporating dish. The precipitate is being transferred to a drying chamber where we shall evaporate all the water from it so that it is completely dry. Let's observe. Let me stop sharing. It's over now. Mr. Nandwa, are you able to see me now? Mr. Nandwa, are you getting me? Hello there. Are you able to get me? I don't know if Mr. Nandwa, you are getting me.